Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into the creating optimal learning environments. For every learner to succeed, they must be immersed in an environment for learning that meets their needs. We'll be returning to this framework often this afternoon and also throughout the rest of the year. So that this is just really meant to be a brief introduction into what we're going to dive into deeper later. So, as you take a look, and this should be the last packet page in your packet, I would believe it's page 30, it's after page 34. It's the very last one in your packet. This is the framework that the New Teacher Center has put together based on 20 years of experience in the field and also through a lot of research that has been done recently to really take a look at three different domains. And so before we really dive into those domains, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and read the definition at the top of the Optimal Learning Environment Framework page. Once again, that's the last page in your packet. And as you're looking at that and reading through that, please highlight important words and phrases and or stars where something really resonates with you. So we're going to give you just a few minutes to do that. I'm sure there were quite a few things there that really resonated to you. I know when I did this recently with another group of instructional coaches, there was an awful lot of things that were highlighted and underlined in that definition. I'm assuming the same is true for your group. What we're going to do now is give each of you an opportunity to dive a little deeper into one of the three domains that you see on the screen. You'll notice that the first one is we're going to call domain one, creating emotionally, intellectually, and physically safe environments. Domain two is providing equitable, culturally responsive, and rigorous curriculum and instruction. And then the third domain is meeting the needs of diverse learners. So, what we'd like you to do is Carla and Melissa have already gone ahead and they will assign each table group to one of those three domains. So, I'll let you guys go ahead and do that. So, once again, you'd have tables one, two, and three, and probably multiples of each of those different domains. So, go ahead and identify which of those domains your table group will be working on. And as you do that, I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. What we'd like you to do is to go ahead and briefly read those characteristics that are underneath your domain and then make some connections to that domain by considering some of these bullet points with your table group. In other words, what we want you to do is to really think about what characteristics of each domain might look like or sound like in a classroom and or any of these other things that come up in your conversation. So we're going to give you about 3 or 4 minutes with your table group to have that conversation, brief conversation around any of these areas related to your domain with your table partners. So Carla and Melissa, I'll let you go ahead and set the timer for about 4 minutes and allow the conversation. Okay, I'm sure those conversations were really lively, and I really wish I was there to hear more from what you're seeing. But we're going to go ahead and move right in now into an opportunity for you to watch a video of a classroom. And the idea would be that if you were domain number one, we're going to ask your table group to selectively script what you see and hear in that classroom and that video based only on your domain. So one table group or a few table groups will be working only and kind of looking through that lens of domain number one. Other table groups will be looking through the lens of domain two, and then the remaining tables will be looking at the domain number three when they're selectively scripting. So Before we move into that, just want to really quickly remind you of what evidence that you might collect in your selective scripting. And this is a slide that should be familiar to all of you. We had this in our first year of professional development together. And it's really talking about what is and isn't evidence that you would be able to capture. And ultimately, when we think about this, we want you to really focus on what we call low inference notes, which means you should really only be writing down what teachers and students' words and actions are, so that we can really capture that and have a conversation about that afterwards. Your selective scripting tools, we're going to use there's some in your packets. A little while later, we're going to get you into the learning zone, but for this activity, we're actually just going to keep you in the packet and let you write your notes for your conversations. So you should find selective scripting pages on page 4 and 5 in your packet materials. And so make sure that you have those ready. I don't know that you will actually need 2 sheets, but we put 2 in there just in case. And we're going to go ahead and get the video set up and allow you to be ready to take a few notes from the classroom here in just a minute. So here's what we're going to have you do. The classroom you're going to take a look at is Mr. Cologne's classroom. He is a 5th grade teacher, and this is a 5th grade math lesson. The focus is on equivalent fractions, and this classroom is in Brooklyn Public School 108. And so once again, you should be only really kind of recording evidence of the domain that you've been assigned, and you'll have a chance to write those down on packet pages 4 and 5.